Hey everybody, TacDad here. Okay, today I went out to the range to test out my new H&K VP9 Tactical. I also brought my Glock 17 out, sort of to do a comparison and see how they feel shooting against each other, and also accuracy. Alright, first and foremost, the American Steel 147 grain did not cycle. Not even once. Every time I used this, I would get a double feed. I would get a class 2 malfunction. So I had to take the magazine out. I couldn't just do a tap rack. So I know that these have a stiff recoil spring and they probably need a little time to break in. So I wasn't extremely surprised by that, because I know these sometimes have issues with newer pistols. The 115 grain of the American Steel did cycle, however. It did not lock the slide back to the rear. It did eject, though not quite as strong as some of the others I used. The Remington 147 grain, these actually cycled. These worked fine. The Winchester White Box, I went through over 150 rounds of these out there, so I had to run to Walmart this afternoon to get some more. It's too bad I'm broke, because they had a whole bunch of these in there. They're, including tax, $40 for a box. That's really good. So wish I could have bought some more, but I got 200 rounds at least. These cycle fine every single time. These did not make the slide lock to the back on the last shot. I started off actually with the 124 grain NATO rounds. These worked fine. These worked perfectly, and these did lock the slide back to the rear. So what I did was I started out, and my first few shots were right on target, and then all of a sudden I was off target. I was all over the place. All right, I'm going to see if I can add in some footage at the end here. But I had to slow down, focus on my fundamentals. It's almost as if I had to reteach myself how to shoot. I am by no means a pro or an excellent pistolero, if you will. But I do go to Steel Match once a month. I do go shooting twice a month usually. So, but I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm not, by no means am I consider myself good. Just good enough to shoot steel on a steel match. That's about it. So I've been used to shooting my Glock. I shoot fairly decent with it. With steel match, you have human-sized targets, or 12-inch or 8-inch round circles, 20 yards away, 30 yards away. So if you're not dead on, you'll still hit it. What I was aiming at were 6-inch circles, and I was trying to hit the center of the circles. So, like I said, I'm used to shooting Glock, and when I started shooting this today, it was as if you were used to driving a Corolla and someone put you in a 6-cylinder Mustang. Oh, not for speed. It's just, what I'm trying to say is, it was different. It was a different feeling, and it's hard to describe. And I had to readjust my grip. I had to readjust my trigger finger, because the trigger is awesome. And these are all safety shit, guys. These are clear. Okay, the trigger is good because I did these drills. Basically, you put one round in there, you fire, bam, you bring it back on target, and you squeeze the trigger. And let me tell you, even though you're going to do that, when I first went out there, after I started shooting around, like I said, I was like sort of off target everywhere. I started doing that that drill. Even though I know that the second shot was empty, there's nothing in there, I was doing something like this. Okay, that's a little exaggerated, but I was flinching. And I'm like, Why am I flinching? I know there's nothing in there. So I did that like over a dozen times, and then I'd shoot one shot, one live shot, bam, bring it back on target, and I was finally able to get that. Once I was able to do that, and I filled up a mag with 10 rounds or 15 rounds, I shot fairly well. I try to shoot slow, and then it's that balance between getting a firm grip and allowing the gun to cycle. And you allow it to cycle, and then you bring it right back. Because whenever I try to like really hold it rigid and fire, I'm always doing this. Okay, nose diving. So it's just, so it's a lot of stuff to learn and get used to. But this one, I was able to shoot really close to the center, if not on the center, very often when I was taking my time. And actually, there's a steel rack out there of bowling pins. Bowling pins are a lot thinner than the round circles, obviously. After a little while, I was able to actually hit 5 of those down in a row. And I hardly ever am able to do that. I usually go through a whole mag of 15 rounds to get a plate rack down, because I don't practice that too often. So then I'd go back to the Glock and shoot a few rounds, and it's different. It's definitely different, and I must say, I'm dying to get used to this, because when I focus and do all my fundamentals correctly, I hit on target exactly where I'm hitting with this every time. Every single time when I focus and do what I'm supposed to do, and not pull, not jerk, just squeeze, I hit the target every time. That's really kind of exciting. Okay, that's really exciting for me. With the Glock, I'd go back to the Glock, and I'm like near the center. I'm like around it, a little high, a little low. Even with the fundamentals that I'm refocusing on, I'm still not as accurate with the Glock. I mean, combat effective, yes, by all means. But target shooting, and I always figure, okay, if you're good at target shooting, you're going to be fine in combat effectiveness. Just because it's you're aiming and you're hitting what you're aiming at, not close, real close. And to me, that's important. Okay, but I mean, either one you'll be able to hit. What a large target. If you squeeze off 6 rounds, you'll be able to hit it several times. So I asked myself, was it worth getting this? After 10 minutes of shooting this, my first answer was no. I was like, why did I get this? I'm not any better with this than I am with the Glock. As I focused and trained myself and did the fundamentals, yeah, this is more accurate. This is, to me, this is definitely more accurate. Now, one thing I did not like is the fact that it wouldn't cycle all the rounds I had. Okay? Never had a problem with the Glock. Glock will eat anything you shove at it. Now, I always clean my guns before I go shoot, even a brand new one. I don't just take it out of the box and start shooting. I know people sometimes do that. I don't like doing that. I go ahead and I clean everything down, lube it, and do my whole routine on it so that it's ready. It's nice and slick, ready to go. So there's no excuses, okay? So the fact that it didn't shoot the 147 grain American steel where my Glock does, I ordered 500 rounds the last time because my Glock eats that up all day long. It doesn't lock to the rear, but it shoots. This would not shoot it, not even once. So that right there kind of bugs me, because this is a higher end gun, and you figure anything you put through it should work. So I have to give kudos to Glock, because anything I've ever shot through any of my Glocks just goes. It runs. It just runs. Okay? No issues. Now, that being said, I know that this recoil spring that they put in here will eventually break in a little bit and loosen up. So I look forward to that happening. I will. What I started doing out there was practicing my my malfunction drills. I would put in a couple of these, and I'd mix in an American steel here or there. And sure enough, I'd get a snafu. It wouldn't cycle. I'd click or a stovepipe, tap, rack, bang, and a few times double feed. So at least I was able to practice that and know that even with the live round, I know it's going to happen. So until this breaks in, that's sort of a good drill for me to practice. Live fire, bang, stovepipe, clear it. Okay, so I'm gonna take advantage of that while I can. You know, gotta take the good with the bad. You know, take advantage, make lemon out of lemonade, or yeah, make lemonade out of lemons. They say, right? What else? Okay. One thing I'll say, when you start messing around with the back straps, you don't need a punch. All you need. Ah, crap! It's not here. All you need. Wait 1 second. Maybe it's here. And this is going to be sacrilegious, a Glock tool. Imagine that. All you need is a Glock tool to push that pin out. You won't damage the pin. And I've done it 3 or 4 times now. No problem. A Glock tool, people. Okay? A Glock tool to take down the pin on an HK. Like I said, that sounds sacrilegious. Hope nobody gets offended. But this, you don't have to go out and buy a specific pin for that. Okay? The threaded barrel did not come loose during the, I believe I shot I know I shot over 200 rounds. I enjoyed shooting this stupid thing, alright? So I would have kept shooting too. So this did not come loose. That was good. The sights are dead on. They're just right there. And anything else? Anything else? No problems with the trigger. I didn't hurt myself with the trigger. I changed the back straps. I had the medium ones on the side. Now I put the large ones, so I can get a better grip on there. And see, now I want to go again because I don't want to forget what I learned today. You have to practice and mentally remember how you hold the gun, how you let it cycle after you squeeze the trigger. Boom, let it cycle and then bring it right back. Although don't limp wrist it, but don't fight it where you're good doing that, because when you shoot one and then shoot the next one, you see this, you know, oh man, that's all messed up. So practice that. Definitely practice that. That way you know, at least if you're not jerking the gun, then you know it's your trigger. If you're not getting on target. That's really all I can say. The paddle thing was fine. I didn't have any other issues. This is a lot of fun to shoot. I will say this is more accurate than the Glock, but at this point I will not trust it more than the Glock, at least at this point. Okay, so I'm going to keep with it, and I'm hoping that eventually that recoil spring will break in a little bit. But like I said, I'll take advantage of the issue now and just practice my double feet clearance technique, if you will. Okay, that's all for now. Any comments, questions, let me know. But yeah, this was worth the purchase. This is definitely worth the purchase. All right, till next time. My first shots with my H&K VP9. I hit around here, then I started to get lazy. So I'm going to do that again. Okay, this is the H&K VP9. I put 15 rounds trying to hit this little inner circle here, so never mind these. If I miss, then they won't count. This is my Glock 17. Okay, I've been shooting my Glock 17 a lot longer. I just got the VP9. I'm using the same ammo, and I took a slight break between these two, just so I wouldn't, you know, say that I was fatigued. I shot this one first. There's several ones in the same hole, and you got like this circle here, which is pretty even. So I don't know how many are in here, because I guess I hit a lot of these too. Looks like I did the same thing on this one, but if you see, this group isn't really centered. It's off to the left a little bit. This group is centered. I have to tell you, the VP9, when I first few shots were perfect, and then I was like off. So I had to adjust a little bit, get used to it, and it's actually, I think, taught me to shoot a little bit better, because I don't think I was this good with my G17, but it does seem that this might be a little bit more accurate, just because it's more centered group versus this is drifted off a little bit. But I mean, I have to say there isn't an accuracy. It doesn't seem to be, at least at this distance, doesn't seem to be a huge difference. Though I like the way the VP9 feels when I'm shooting. It just it feels different, and it's not just the trigger, it's just the whole thing. Anyway, all right.